Okay, we've done our applications. This last part is just properties and simplification. First thing I want to talk about is the distributive property. This is the one that everybody's pretty comfortable with. Our distributive property rule is if I have A times B plus C, it's A times B plus A times C. So if I have 2 times x plus 7, I'm just going to take that 2 and distribute it to the x and distribute it to the 7. So it's 2 times x plus 2 times 7, or 2x plus 14. You don't need to show that middle step. I'm just showing it so that people can see where it came from. Now I'm going to throw a fraction in there so you don't start to get scared of fractions. Negative 1/4 times 2b minus 8. Well, it's going to be negative 1/4 times 2b and negative 1/4 times negative 8. Well, negative 1/4 times 2b is going to be negative 2/4 b. Negative 1/4 times negative 8, the negative times negative is positive. That's 8 over 1 times 1 over 4, so it's 8/4. Now we'd simplify. 2/4 is the same as a half, and 8/4 is the same as 2. So we'd have minus 1/2 b plus 2. Now this last one is very, very easy, but it's also very, very easy to make a mistake. I have a minus outside that set of parentheses. I cannot cancel that minus with the 1 in front of the 7a. Because if 7a was the only thing in those parentheses, I could. But there's a lot of other stuff in there as well. So what I need to do is distribute that negative. And you don't need to write this step, it's just here so you can see what's happening. You distribute that negative to everybody in those parentheses. So you'd have the opposite of negative 7a is 7a. The opposite of negative b is b. The opposite of 3x is minus 3x. The opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. So it just changes all the signs inside the parentheses. The mistake people make is they just change the sign of the first term and they forget about changing the signs of all the other terms. Make sure you carry that negative all the way through the parentheses. Okay, now remember, an expression is a combination of operations, constants, and variables. For example, 3x plus 5xy squared plus y minus 7x plus 2xy squared, big, long, nasty thing. It's just an expression. I took some numbers, some letters, some operations like plus and minus, and multiply, put them in a bag, shook them up, dumped them out, and this is what we got. A term is a combination of constants and variables that are multiplied or divided together. There's no addition or subtraction in a term. So here are my terms. 1 term, 2 terms. There's my 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So there's 5 terms. So technically, an expression is a combination of terms using addition and subtraction. 2 terms are like terms if they have exactly the same variable part. For example, in what we had before, 3x and 7x, or negative 7x, I don't care which one you say, are like terms. 5xy squared and 2xy squared are like terms. The variable part is exactly the same. It can't even be a little bit different. Y doesn't have any like terms. Once we identify the like terms, we can combine like terms. So 3x and the 7x, and the 7x has that minus, we can combine those. So I'm just going to move them around a little bit. 3x minus 7x, those are like terms. The 5xy squared and the 2xy squared, those are like terms. So 3x minus 7x is minus 4x. 5xy squared plus 2xy squared is 7xy squared. And then I just have my y tagging along on the end. The number part of a term is called the coefficient. So for the same expression we had before, the coefficient of the first term is 3, the coefficient of the next term is 5. What's the coefficient of y? It's 1. The coefficient of the next term is 7. You could also say it's negative 7. I'm not going to be picky on that. And the coefficient of the next one is 2. Okay, so for simplifying, we're going to use our distributive property and combining like terms. First thing I want to do is expand everything out, distribute. So negative 3 Oh, and the vast majority of mistakes on these problems come from skipping steps. The more steps you put in, the less time your homework will take you. I know it seems counterintuitive, but it's true. All right, so my steps, I will clear parentheses, I'll distribute, and then I'll combine like terms. So for this one, first, clear parentheses. Negative 3 times 2x is negative, and negative 3 times negative 4 plus 10. That gives me negative 6x plus 12 plus 10. Most of you will skip that first step and go straight to the negative 6x plus 12. That's fine, but if you're having any issues at all, please put more steps in. 12 and 10 are like terms, so I have negative 6x plus 22. Okay, do this one on your own. Okay, now that you're back, distribute the negative 3, and then distribute the 8. The negative 3 distributed, the 8 distributed, so I have negative 6t minus 12 plus 16t minus 32. Where are my like terms? Okay, those t's are like terms. The numbers are like terms. So negative 6t plus 16t gives me 10t. Negative 12 and negative 32 gives me negative 44. Okay, step 1, clear parentheses. So I have multiplying a decimal by 10 just moves the decimal point one place. So I have 51a minus 31 plus 4. Notice that that 4 did not get multiplied by 10. My like terms were the negative 31 and the 4. So I have 51a minus 27. Okay, pause. Okay, now that you've done it for yourself, let's check. So I distribute that 2. The 2 only gets distributed to the things in parentheses. So I have minus 4m plus 2m minus 6, because 2 times m is 2m. 2 times minus 3 is minus 6, and then that 2m on the end. My like terms are all of the m's. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Oh, all the m's canceled, so I have negative 6. All right, we have 2 distributed to that set of parentheses. So I have 2w minus 10. Now what's going to be the next tricky part? Do this on your own, pause me, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we have 2w minus 10, minus 2w, everyone's fine there, minus 8. Make sure you got that minus 8. You've got to distribute that negative all the way through. That's the one that's easy to forget about. Combining like terms, my w's are going to cancel, and I just have negative 18. The most common mistake is to not distribute that negative sign.